When did extreme parenting nearly cost them everything? My parents were obsessed with this article they'd read about teenage sleep cycles and peak growth hormone production. At 15, I had the most humiliating bedtime of anyone I knew. 7 p.m. sharp, no exceptions. While my friends were doing homework, studying for tests, or just living normal teenage lives, I was lying in the dark, listening to the world continue without me. It didn't matter if I had a chemistry exam the next morning or a group project due. Mom would physically take my textbooks away at 6:45 p.m. and march me to my room. "Your health is more important than anything," she'd say, while Dad would add his favorite line about how the teenage brain needs 12 hours of sleep for proper development. I'd failed 3 tests this semester alone because I couldn't study, and my teachers were starting to think I didn't care about school. The worst part was hearing my Xbox notifications going off every night at 9 p.m. when my friends logged on to play together. They'd given up inviting me months ago. My parents had installed blackout curtains, removed all electronics from my room, and even put a baby monitor, yes, a baby monitor at 15, to make sure I stayed in bed. So I started getting creative. First, I tried the classic pillow under the blanket trick, but the baby monitor's night vision caught me sneaking out immediately. Then I discovered that if I positioned myself just right, I could hide under my desk in the monitor's blind spot and use my phone with the brightness all the way down. But Mom figured that out when she did a random wellness check at 10 p.m. After that, they started taking my phone at 6:30 p.m. too, so I got more desperate and smarter. They installed a smart lock on my door that would alert their phones if it opened after 7 p.m. I learned to pick it with a bobby pin. They put tape on the door frame to see if I'd left. I learned to carefully remove and replace it. This went on for months, an exhausting war of attrition where I was fighting just to have the basic freedom. Then one fateful night, I'd finally won a small victory. My parents had been at a dinner party and came home exhausted, going straight to bed without their usual final check. I waited until I heard Dad snoring, then carefully positioned myself under the desk with my phone, ready to finally join my friends online for the first time in forever. I was just about to text them when I smelled something wrong, a sharp chemical smell that made my nose tingle. At first, I thought maybe I was imagining it from being cooped up in my room too long, but it got stronger. Then I recognized it. Gas. Natural gas. Like when Mom had accidentally blown out the pilot light last year. My heart started racing as I crept to my door and carefully opened it. The smell hit me like a wall. The entire hallway reeked of it. I ran to the kitchen and saw the problem immediately. One of the burner knobs was turned to the on position, but there was no flame. Gas had been pouring into our house for who knows how long. My hands shaking, I turned off the burner and opened the kitchen window, then ran to my parents' room. "Mom! Dad! Don't turn on any lights!" I shouted, shaking them awake. Dad sat up groggily, and I saw his hand instinctively reaching for the lamp. "No!" I practically screamed, grabbing his wrist. "There's a gas leak! We need to get out now!" Mom started to argue about why I was awake, but then the smell hit them too. Their anger instantly transformed into panic. We ran out of the house in our pajamas, Dad carrying our cat and Mom grabbing her phone to call 911. We'd barely made it to the sidewalk when we heard the click of the automatic timer, the one my parents had installed to turn on the kitchen lights at 11:30 p.m. to discourage midnight snacking. Boom! The explosion knocked us to the ground. Our kitchen window blew out in a shower of glass and orange flame, and within seconds, the entire first floor was engulfed. The firefighters later said we'd been minutes, maybe seconds, from being unconscious from the fumes. If I'd been asleep like my parents demanded, we'd all be dead.